everybody, Walt, Big Walt. And it's the day after Christmas. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. And we're in the shop today. We're going to work on stripping the cars down and getting some stuff squared away so we can rebuild and get back racing again. So, Dad, what are we going to do to your car?
This car is going to get completely stripped. Bare chassis. Needs a few bumper mounts repaired, a few body mounts repaired. This is the one that I flipped the last race. So, and it was scheduled to come apart anyway, all the way apart. So this one will get completely stripped and gone through and checked. Rear end, everything, get ready for next season. Walt's car that was brand new this year. So this one's going to get semi-stripped. Rear end, you know, pretty well there, but not completely bare, and gone through and prepped. They'll both get new bodies, interior sheet metal as needed, fresh radiator and one, I think, at least. Rear end's freshened. This one's going to get a new transmission because it's time to update there. Yeah, and get going. So follow along. The motors have already been winterized for here in the Northeast. Obviously, it's cold, it's hot. We had 2 feet of snow. Now we just got 2 inches of rain, so we're back to half snow, half grass. So, but it's the day after Christmas, and so it's time to go racing.
So yeah, so we're gonna work on Dad's getting his stripped out. We're gonna pull the motor, so you'll see that. We're gonna do some chassis repair stuff. As you can see, I think I showed in one of the videos before, it bent the back pipe here when he flipped. So, but it didn't bend the rear clip. Like, all these bars are still straight. We put a straight edge on them, so I think we can just replace this bar here. So Dad's we're gonna strip it down completely, powder coat it. Before we powder coat it, we have to have it sandblasted and all that. So we'll check for cracks, because cracks are pretty common with these dirt cars. You hit a rut and stuff. They take a pounding. So follow along, stay tuned, and you'll see us pulling out the motor and doing all sorts of stuff, getting this thing ready for powder coat. This is one of the fun winter storage issues we always have. We never have enough places to put our wheels and tires. We have, well, there's 4 there, 4 here. I think there's 8 upstairs. We have a lot of wheels and tires. Of course, we have some tires for Claremont, some for everywhere. I just turned it on. So we got the pull plate on, got the radiator pulled off. Notice that at some point the top hose got whacked, and I'm surprised it didn't leak. But that's all right. We're going to change this radiator anyways, because we bought it and we didn't realize it doesn't have the mounts on mine. It mounts and hooks right to this bar. We had to build a bracket and stuff, and it's in there, but it still can wiggle around. We'd rather just put it in the rubber mounts and be good to go. So, got the exhaust off that side. I'm getting ready to pull this side, and then we'll be close to pulling the motor. Kind of wipe them off. we make sure to cover up all the exhaust ports. Wipe them off. You can see there's a little bit of dirt. We wipe them off and then put some tape over them so nothing can get in them. And then usually we spray some Marvel Mystery Oil in here, just to make sure everything's lubricated so it doesn't dry out. So once we get the motor out, we'll do that. We'll be good to go. So we take and pull the plugs out, and then, like I said, we just give it a squirt in there, squirt in there, on there. We do this just for preventative maintenance, really, and then we'll take and we turn the motor over. Put the plugs back in, turn the motor over, and it lubricates. Just for when it sits, so it doesn't dry everything out and the rings and stuff don't stick. Then usually when you start the motor, sometimes it'll smoke a little bit because it's burning off all that oil, but it's helping in the off season of making things not rust and doing that. So we get it every advantage as we can, and just keeps the motors, keeps stuff from rusting and all that. So we'll get this side done. If I can screw this spark plug in. Maybe. And we just leave them loose. And we'll put the plug wires back just kind of on there. Every season we start out with a fresh oil change and spark plugs and all that. And we'll go do it on the other side. You can also see the shop looks a lot bigger now. We moved the Trans Am out, we built the lean-to, and we moved the brake and stuff over here. So now the shop's actually a lot cleaner than it was because we have more room. It wasn't that we had a lot of just junk. We had a lot of stuff. We were just out of room. So the shop's nice and clean. And we got a little bit of stuff here and there, but that's normal for when you're stripping a race car. It gets kind of cluttered and full. Pretty much now that we got the oil in there, we take and turn the motor over to cycle it through. It's not going to start, obviously, with everything unplugged and all that. Good. And then the oil's all on the rings and all that, and she's good to put tape on these, and we're good to go. Now we just gotta unhook the fan, power steering lines, and start unhooking the motor. Got everything all out, got the hoist on it. Now we just have to unhook the motor mount bolts. So there's 3 here, 3 on the other side, and then on a dirt modified where we have a motor plate, as you can see inside here, there's bolts here, 2 up there, and then some on the other side of the starter, because these use like a reverse mount starter. So the motor is actually relatively easy to get out of one of these once you have all the components off of it. Like our ACT late models that we used to run, the American Canadian Tour late models, they had a bell housing in the transmission, and all of this stuff swung off the back of the engine. So you literally had to take the transmission, the bell housing, the drive shaft, all that to get the engine out. But with one of these, it's a lot like a sprint car. You unbolt it off the motor plate, and the transmission and all that can stay because this has 2 or 3 bolts in it that hold it. So pretty much you just have to pull the starter wires, your exhaust, the wiring components on the front, and the fuel lines and stuff, and you can have these things popped out in a hurry. You'll see guys sometimes if they have a bad motor or something in practice, you'll see them over with the wrecker popping a motor out in a hurry, and they'll be back going for either the heat race or the feature. So we're just about there. We'll have this one out and on the stand.
Should take these bolts and put them in with the other bag.
You can put them in the other bag. Okay.
Wait with the exhaust.
Oh, okay. We always try to make sure and save all the bolts and know which ones go where. Usually we replace all the lock nuts and all that, but the bolts are usually in good shape. especially the ones that hold this stuff in, they don't usually get tweaked or anything. So we'll clean them up and put them back in. So there's a lot of cleaning that goes on in the off season.
There we are.
So there's that. Got the engine out. Dad's gonna put the stand on it. There's not much to these after you get the motor out. Pretty much everything after the engine and the fan and the radiator are out, everything is right in the cockpit. So you get your transmission and all that, and the drive shaft hoop. So we'll keep working on it, getting it out, stripped. Make sure to have it all documented so you guys can follow along. If I can get the stand on. Couldn't have done that again. So there we are. Motor's swinging. It'll get cleaned up and ready to go in after this thing's been gone through. So make sure to stay tuned in our next videos. I'm gonna get some other stuff stripped out. This car, like we said, is getting completely stripped. Mine, we're gonna pull the engine, transmission, and rear end out of. We're gonna have the rear end serviced. I'm gonna buy myself a new transmission. And then we'll put the motors away and get everything squared away. We're working on the truck as well. We'll be down there probably tomorrow, so you'll see another video at some point of us working on the Freightliner. We got some stuff about the trailer. We'll probably throw that into this next video too, because we got the trailer all cleaned up and headed out at my grandfather's job, and so that's pretty close to being ready to go. So we can hook onto it and off we can roll. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll be here all winter. There's nothing else to do with COVID, so we'll be here. Dad's coaching basketball still, but unfortunately I can't go to any of those games. There's no fans or any of that, so we can't enjoy that. So we'll have to watch those online. So we'll be in the shop way more. We got some bodies to build when we get our aluminum. So yeah, hope everybody had a good Christmas. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow. Dad, you got anything else?
No, stay healthy. Just think racing, man. That's the main thing. Keeps us going. So thanks for watching. Tell a friend. We like doing it for you. So send questions or anything. If you have questions, please send them. We'll answer them or try to answer them. And like you said, like, subscribe, ding the bell, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Hope you guys all had a good holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, hope you had a good Christmas. Thanks for watching.